Hmm.
I didn't want to marry her. I said, if I get killed over there, I don't want to leave you a widow.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's
And if
newsman,
you're just
Logan
joining
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're sharing a powerful and heartfelt first account of the Vietnam War. We're exploring a powerful book that is called Cong Catchers, A Soldier's Memories of Vietnam. It is written by a terrific author. His name is Lee Halverson. This isn't your typical war story. It's about courage, Christian values, and camaraderie, as well as compassion in the face of chaos. Through football games, soda instead of booze, and rebuilding orphanages instead of indulging in vice, Halverson and his fellow soldiers proved that you could fight with honor while still staying true to your values. We're delighted to have this very talented authors join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Lee, thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're welcome.
Your story really begins on graduation day. I think it was 1968. After you get your diploma from the school's president, you check your mailbox and bam, there's a draft notice.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing
Isn't
timing,
it
right?
wonderful when government works that way that they know the exact day I was going to get my diploma and put my draft notice in on my door? Yeah,
Amazing,
pretty
amazing. Just
efficient
when,
operation.
amazing, yeah. Some government efficiency we'd like to see less of, but you were sent overseas, no doubt. And what was your experience like when you got there and then going forward?
When I got where?
When you got
Vietnam?
overseas, yeah, to
Oh,
Vietnam.
I remember we landed in Cam Ranh Bay,
Hmm.
and it was absolutely gorgeous. They've got a white sand beach there that looks like granulated sugar.
Hmm.
And the water was turquoise. It was just beautiful. We got in a deuce and a half with our dogs,
Hmm.
and they were taking us away from the port up to our barracks area. So we went through rice paddy areas. And one of the guys looked out at the back of the truck and said, "Hey, look at that." And there was this beautiful girl out in the rice paddy harvesting and working the rice fields. And all of a sudden, she squatted down and relieved herself right in front of all of us in the rice paddy. And we all stood there, sat there dumbfounded. Being Americans, we'd never seen that kind of activity before.
Yeah.
And that was our welcome to Vietnam.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. Talk to us a little bit about how your Christian faith helped shape your experience in the military.
I'd say the first experience was I was guarding a food yard in Pleiku,
Hmm.
and I'm under orders to kill anybody that gets into the food yard. The food yard had 6 rows of concertina wire around its perimeter. The sun had just gone down. It was twilight. And then I watched this little boy coming through the concertina wire.
Hmm.
I'd say he was probably 12, 13 years old. And I just watched for a while, and he made it through 6 rows of concertina wire, went to a garbage barrel, pulled out a rotten apple, and shoved the rotten apple into his mouth and started to swallow without even chewing. And my orders are to kill that kid. And if anybody had seen me not turn my dog loose on him, I would have gone to what they called Long Bin Jail, LBJ. And I thought, Jesus Christ said, treat other people the way you'd like to be treated yourself. And I thought, how in the world could I harm this little boy? He's starving to death.
Yeah.
I knew enough Vietnamese that I went down and met with him. I got where he lived, and I told him, you get out of here and don't you ever come back again. And when my night was over, I loaded a loaf of bread and a can of peaches into my Jeep. And when I drove by his home, I shoved out the can of peaches and the loaf of bread. And every night, I shoved some kind of food out, just a small parcel every night. About a week went by, and that little boy showed up at my barracks. And he said, GI be in bunker at 8 o'clock tonight. Well, 8 o'clock, I went out to the bunker. I didn't think too much about it. Immediately, we started getting fire from mortars and rockets, and we were rocketed for about 2 hours that night. From that point on, I knew about every attack that was ever going to come at least 12 hours before it happened and long before intelligence told us that there might be an attack. In effect, I was taking care of that little boy and he was taking care of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Two kindred souls found each other. You could see he was a good kid, wasn't harboring any harm or weapons against you or your
Yeah.
battalion. And he in turn saw you were a good man and sought to spare your life by letting you know about incoming attacks. So
Yes,
it's amazing how humanity brings about humanity and inhumanity brings about inhumanity, right?
it surely is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up because you make me think of the orphanage we did in Pleiku.
Mhm.
We went out on a body count after a B-52 raid, and I could hear this baby crying.
Hmm.
And we searched through the rubble. There wasn't much left after what the B-52s had done. And under some roofing tin, I found this little boy, and he
Hmm.
was trying to nurse his mother. Half her head was gone. She had died 2 days earlier when the bombing raid went through. So I took that little boy and went back to Pleiku and asked the people, is there an orphanage here somewhere?
Hmm.
Well, they directed me to this place. It had been damaged by mortar and rocket fire too, but there were still buildings and people there. I left the little boy. I grew up on a farm, so I knew carpentry, electricity, plumbing, concrete. And then my days off, I went down to the orphanage and just started repairing. Now, most GIs, when they have time off, they go downtown to have get drunk and have some female companionship.
Yeah.
But by and by, more of the guys would come over and say, hey, Dad. And they called me Dad. That was my nickname there. And they would say, I think I would be spending my time better if I came to the orphanage instead of going downtown. Can I
Hmm.
come? And I said, you bet,
Wow.
come on. It wasn't long before my entire company spent all their time off at the orphanage. Not only did we repair what had been damaged, we built a swing set, a slide, a teeter-totter, a merry-go-round, and it built such good rapport with the citizenry in the area that the officers started getting involved too. They all wanted to be a part of this orphanage project. And of course, they brought more money so we could get more materials, and it just worked out well.
Amazing, amazing. It's almost mind-boggling. You know, wouldn't it, I know it's a kind of like almost Pollyannish to say this, but wouldn't it be nice if we were sending legions of young men overseas to help people like you did, as opposed to kill people like at times soldiers are forced to do? You know, it's amazing how you spent your time in the service versus how other people spent their time in the service and what the mission is for the Army in the first place, which of course is to kill.
Yeah.
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 Amazing. Amazing. You also trained to be a dog handler. Tell us a little bit about that training and your work as a dog handler.
Okay. Um, Being a farm boy, the officers where I went to get a dog noticed that I was probably a good candidate to save a dog. They had a dog that had flunked the class 5 times. If he didn't pass this time, he was going to be put to sleep.
Hmm.
And then they had another dog who was just meaner than mean. And they said, he's your backup. If this dog doesn't work out, we'll get this one. I love a challenge. I decided I was going to save Shep's life, so I really went to work on him. And Shep ended up becoming a show dog. He could run the obstacle course off leash. I taught him how to sit in front of whoever was on my left and sit down and bring his paw up like he was saluting.
Hmm.
So whenever I had an officer come to view things, Shep would salute that officer, and they thought that was just the nuts. They loved
That's
that kind
awesome.
of thing. Shep was scared to death of everything when I started with him. Um, he could not run the obstacle course by himself. He would stop instead of jumping through a window. And when he did that, the rest of the guys all laughed. I took a lot of laughing and a lot of abuse sticking with that dog. But I think the best feeling I had in that whole process was all the officers knew that Shep was a loser and he was probably going to be put to sleep.
Hmm.
And I had a friend, Smitty, who helped me work with Shep. And Smitty just loved the dogs. And when it came time for a show, he wanted to be in the middle of it. And we had a part where we were performing for the officers. Somebody had to wear a sleeve, a padded sleeve,
Hmm.
and he'd go down the line, and each dog handler's dog was supposed to attack him
Hmm.
and bite through the sleeve or bite him on the sleeve. And when he got to Shep, Smitty jumped back, pulled the sleeve off, and held his arm out. Shep had gone through all that padding and had drawn blood
Wow.
on him, uh, a first.
It's
And one of the
amazing.
officers looked at him and said, "Do that again." And Smitty handed him the sleeve and says, "Heck no, do it yourself."
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, good rapport with animals paid off for you. Good relationship with Ginny helped you during your time in the service. Tell us about how your relationship with Ginny helped keep you grounded during your service years.
We got married 2 weeks before I shipped out to Vietnam.
Hmm.
I didn't want to marry her. I said, if I get killed over there, I don't want to leave you a widow. Let's get
Hmm.
married when I get home. And she said, "No, I love you. I want to get married now." And so we did.
Hmm.
And our minister, Pastor Campney, uh, knew that we had a pretty special relationship, not just because of what he saw in us, but because of what friends said about us.
Hmm.
And in his sermon, he said, "You two have a special kind of love, but I want you to understand that I'm not marrying two people here, I'm marrying three.
Hmm.
I'm marrying you and Jenny and Jesus,
Hmm.
all three of you together." And that stuck with us. We believed that way to begin with anyway. Well, at the wedding, I still had my Army clothes. And if you've ever seen the boxer shorts that the Army has,
Yep.
it's like somebody took a parachute and sewed it up to make shorts out of it, and you got a whole parachute to shove down in your pants. And all my groomsmen made fun of my boxer shorts. So about a month after I was overseas, I got this box.
Mhm.
And I opened it up, and here's a pair of boxer shorts that are orange with little yellow and green flowers all over it. And a note from Jenny saying, I know the guys made fun of your boxer shorts at the wedding. I don't want them making fun of you anymore. So I made these for you, and you're going to get a pair every month. And when you got 12 pair, you're coming home.
Awesome.
So that's how the boxer shorts started. I told you about Smitty earlier.
Mhm.
I held those shorts up. Smitty looked at them and said, that's the damnedest pair of Cong Catchers I ever saw. So that became the name of the book, Cong Catchers.
Amazing. Amazing.
What?
By your 12th pair, did you come home?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. It's an amazing story. You're a gifted speaker and a gifted writer, and you have penned a wonderful book about an era that people really have a lot of misconceptions about, that there were men like you overseas defending our country, yes, but also spreading Christian values simultaneously. And I think it's wonderful to reinforce that. The name of the book is Cong Catchers, A Soldier's Memories of Vietnam. It's written by a terrific man, a terrific author, and a patriot. His name is Lee Halverson. It is a moving tribute to character, courage, and compassion during one of history's most turbulent wars. Lee, thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're entirely welcome. I enjoyed it.
I appreciate your time, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.